Like, oh, we listen to your podcast. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna fucking hate me. Like, no, it's pretty good. Like, it's you guys are young, like. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aloha Press show. My name is JC, out here in Atlanta, Georgia. Joined today with my cigar smoking, bourbon drinking partner, Jeff. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I did something today that I've never done in my life.
What is that?
And it's very weird because you might not even believe it. I actually, after I got home from a run, I showered and changed and got dressed like I was going to play golf. And I went to the golf course and I just hit a large bucket of balls and putted and came home. I've never done that in my life. I don't fucking practice.
You're a country club kid now. I mean, what the hell is going on? I swear you said at one point in time you don't ever really practice or go to the range. I mean, that's like a 30-minute drive for you, buddy. I mean, are you okay? Is everything all right?
Well, first off, I'm not a country club kid because I had to find the range tokens in my ashtray and through the change drawer. But I figured I made a comment last week about shooting my best score ever this year and going for some hole-in-ones. And I figured I can't take months off like I've been doing and expect to go out and shoot 62, right? If I take months off, I'm going to go out and shoot 77. So I figured that I might as well start getting a little work in. If I'm not going to play, I at least should practice. I didn't like it. I put some music on the range and tried to get through it. I got through the whole bucket. Never even made it to my woods. But
okay.
It's a start. It's a work in progress.
That's incredible, Jeff. I'm really excited for you, buddy. You're getting you're overcoming some things. I just can't imagine you shooting 77 at Kapalua this week. Like at any point in time, did you look at like Thursday through Saturday and realize like I might be able to shoot even par out there?
Oh, I definitely think so. I mean, that course was set up for birdies. And for me, I don't like watching PGA Tour events where they make that many fucking birdies because I like to see them grind a little bit, struggle, get up and down. What kind of shocked me when I'm looking back today at the leaderboard just to try to see where the numbers were, there were some guys that did not play very well.
No.
I mean, they were a long ways off that 25 under number.
I think a few of them were, I think one of them was Hideki Matsuyama, who legitimately had like one of the worst putting experiences like in the entire PGA Tour history. Like he was losing, I think 10 shots a round or something crazy just based on his putting. And he was hitting it to like an average of like 10 feet and wasn't able to make any putts. So I just looked at the golf course and I just realized like it wasn't that long. It wasn't that hard when the wind's not blowing. It was a really, really easy golf course when the wind's not picking up.
It reminded me of the baseball version of Coors Field in Colorado where the Rockies play, because you should never see multiple guys hitting over 400-yard drives.
Yeah.
Like, and hitting more than one 400-yard drive. That's fucking ridiculous. There was a time when 300 yards was like the number, and then it started to go up a little bit. 400, 421 from Cameron Champ. He hit over 400 a couple times. That's ridiculous. And they're not even at altitude. They're at fucking sea level.
They are at sea level. But, I mean, it's Kapalua. It's built on a mountain. I mean, it's in a beautiful place in Maui. I mean, great views. And if it didn't rain as much as it did earlier in the week, those guys would have been hitting, like you said, there would have been a couple 500-yard drives that would have just been crazy. And I don't want to get into the Bryson thing too much before our hot topic, which we're gonna deliver a huge rant. But Bryson said he won't put the 48-inch driver at Kapalua because he would hit it too far into too much trouble, which I think everyone was going to get into trouble if they actually got after it a little bit.
Well, yeah, the very little that I did watch, there was something where he was playing one of the par fours. It's a shorter one, 3 something, right? Driver's too much. 3-wood might have been too much. So he's hitting fucking his iron off the tee, full swing. I mean, he hooked that shit. It wasn't the best shot, but that on the PGA Tour, like that has got to make the old time guys just get upset as a motherfucker, because goddamn, dude, they're taking 3 clubs less than they should. on
Yep.
these holes. Driver should never be too much.
It should never be too much. And it was, I remember that hole. He hit 8-iron like 225. And it's like, what the fuck is this world coming to? But I mean, let's get to the winner. I mean, what a hell of a Sunday finish. I mean, you got Harris English, Joaquin Niemann, Justin Thomas, just battling down the stretch. And it just seemed like a lot of guys were in contention, even consider Patrick Cantley, Colin Morikawa. But when everything was said and done, about 40 minutes until Harris English finished up, Joaquin Niemann posted a minus 25 and went into he didn't even go into the clubhouse. Him and Sergio Garcia and their girlfriends, wives, whoever, hung out and watched the rest of the golf tournament on their phone. And it seemed like Joaquin Niemann was rather being criticized for not going to the range or the putting green, or it just seemed like the announcers were on this rant of like, hey, God, this is just inexperienced to the full tilt. His caddy should kidnap him and go drag him to the range and get him, warmed up again. I mean, Jeff, I gotta know. I mean, we're not any young buck anymore, but 40 minutes between the time I stop playing golf to the time I'm gonna start playing a golf again. I don't need a fucking warm-up session.
No, and hey, he looked like he sat down on the picnic bench. He had a little snack, right? He went and putted a few. And here's the thing: the announcers talked all that shit about him and gave their advice to him. Do they forget that he came out and the first ball he hit went 40 yards past Harris English's, right down the middle?
It went 11 yards further than his actual drive on 18 in regulation. And the thing I cracked up about was they're talking about him on the fucking telecast about how he's an idiot and how everyone is chiming in like, I would drag him to the range, and the fuckers are watching it on his phone. Like, they're watching the television coverage and they're like, fuck these guys. And maybe a few minutes before Harris English finished up, he went to the actual, chipping range and hit a few putts. But I just figured, like, there's been so many rounds of golf. I've rolled out of bed, barely made the tee time, and it's like 7:30 in the morning, and we're not stretched. We don't hit the range. I mean, shit, we spent a whole Pebble Beach trip where we never even saw a range. If someone asked me today, where's the range at Pebble Beach, I would be like, I have no fucking clue.
Well, here's the thing. So these announcers saying that type of stuff, they're obviously way wrong, because he just played 18 holes. It's like when we were out, hey, we're going to play 36 today, right? When we finish 18, we go maybe have a bite to eat, a couple drinks, and then we go back out to the first tee. I don't get a bucket of balls. I just played 18 holes. I got the best warm-up I could ever have.
And it's not like you're going to go to the driving range. And this is what I kept thinking about. I was like, the second shot on hole 18 is generally a downhill lie. And it's like 250 yard shot with a 3-iron or a 4-iron. Is he going to go to the side of the hill on the range and start practicing like downhill shots? Like, it just kind of was mind numbing. But Harris English and him entered into a playoff, which Harris English, and I'll give him credit, he played his ass off, but he would not have been in this field unless the old Corona happened. And the FedEx Cup not the FedEx Cup, the PGA Tour made this exemption with the American Century Champions, not American Century, I screwed this up. Century Tournament of Champions. Jeff, I got to know. I mean, this has to be an asterisk when you look back and see, he won a PGA Tour event that he shouldn't even been in.
Well, you talked about it on the Anger Bang last week. We talked about it in our shows. And it's only fitting, right, that a guy that shouldn't be there ends up winning. I had a feeling something like this was going to happen, right? Hey, kudos to him. He made the money. He shot the best round, the best score, and he won, but he shouldn't have been there. This is Tournament Champions. Like, from now on, it should never be called the Tournament Champions. Like, you should just make it a top 30 event with the winners, call it good. Here's my take, though. Obviously, him and Joaquin Niemann both don't have a lot of experience winning, because they both had some really makeable eagle putts to put that thing away and save us from a fucking playoff, and it didn't happen.
No, and as more golf as I cover and write about and do the daily Anger Bang, the last thing I want to see is Harris English and Joaquin Niemann go into a playoff on an event where it's a 42-man field. I just was like, You fuckers, you both missed putts. It's just, let's just call it a tie. Let's just have a first fucking tie. Because this is what it equates to. I mean, Harris English, in my opinion, shouldn't even be invited back next year unless he wins this year. And don't get me wrong, he's been playing amazing golf. He had a great run at the US Open. He played well in Vegas. He's had a lot of, great runner-ups. But the thing I wanted your take on was, I mean, he did win last year in 2020. I mean, it wasn't an event that we talked a lot about, but him and Kuchar got the dual 2-day fucking best ball championship with the old Greg Norman, the fucking sea snake.
The little 2-man bullshit. Yeah, that doesn't count. I don't know. I don't know where we're going in this world. 2020 was rough. 2021 started out pretty rough as well. Like I said, it's only fitting that a guy that shouldn't be there wins the Tournament of Champions, and now he's a champion.
He is a champion, and he chalked up his third victory on the PGA Tour, and good for him. Fuck, he took advantage of a bad situation, I guess, and capitalized on it. He was fucking rather excited. Fuck, this is the first hug handshake I've ever seen on the PGA Tour with him and Joaquin Niemann at the end of it. So, which was cool. He started crying. I felt for the guy. I mean, fuck, he's had a string of bad luck when it comes to his golf swing, but walked away with a bunch of cash. But the thing that we talked about last week, and the thing I thought I just had this weird feeling, and I should have fucking went to like the gas station, the old 7-Eleven, the Piggly Wiggly, the Circle K, and gotten me a fucking lotto ticket, Jeff, because I said some shit was going to go down in 2021 when it comes to the golf. And sure shit, the fucking national media is covering Justin Thomas on the fourth hole on Saturday, where a Golf Channel microphone picked up some language, a particular word, the F word, not the F word, but the other F word, on a microphone after he lipped out a putt, Jeff. I mean, first reaction.
Well, here's the thing. I love Justin Thomas, right? He's a good player. He's good for the game. When he drops the other F-bomb, the one that we use all the time, I like it. I like that passion. I like stuff. He said something he shouldn't have said. And he apologized immensely for it. He fucking apologized 2 days in a row for it. But here's the thing. To say that you don't remember saying it is a complete lie. Because me and you do this show once a week. And thank God we can edit, right? We're not going live all the time. Yes. But I remember everything I say. You remember everything you say. And we're inebriated most of the time. And if it's highly questionable, it's always in the back of my mind. And it's like, hey, JC, maybe we'll take that out, right?
I completely agree. I said some shit 2 weeks ago that I texted you about. I'm like, I think this is a crossing the fucking line. And it wasn't, I did not say we haven't said anything like JT has said. We might have
and here's
other derogatory shit, but not ever that. And the thing that confused me the most about JT's comment, and then his like recollection, he's like, yeah, someone came up to me in the scoring tent and had to tell me what I said on the fourth hole. And I'm like, it got me thinking. And I'm like, okay, JT, you kicked out a guy a couple years ago for saying to get your fucking golf ball in a bunker, and you had someone removed from a golf tournament. Then you go out on national fucking television and say that shit, and then say you don't remember it. And it just immediately pissed me off.
Well, so here's my take is that one, it's something that he says all the time, because those things, when you say something when you're pissed off, you usually revert back to something that is common to you. It's known, like, right? When we miss something or something goes bad, we say words that we say quite often. It's not something that just is brand new to coming out of my mouth. Yes. Right. And then second, it's as soon as he found out or remembered, you go into protect mode, right? You got to protect your image, your brand, everything like that. Because anybody else that's done this in the past in any major sport, usually their brands start going away. They start losing money. They start getting fined. So he's doing damage control. So I never really believe these apologies that I hear from these guys, because they're saving themselves. That's all they're trying to do. They're saving themselves, their brand, their family, their image, because it is plastered everywhere. And Justin Thomas has probably never been so popular on social media, because you look at any Facebook ad or any Instagram ad, and he is the hot topic right now.
He is the hot topic, and it's one of those things that when I picked him last week, I did not expect he was going to go out there in the third fucking round and say some shit that got him fucking mind fucked for the next day. Jeff, did he purposely not win the golf tournament because of what he said?
Well, I don't think he purposely didn't win. He might. There's somewhere in his head that he didn't want to win because it's just more spotlight, right? Do I think had he not said that Saturday, he would have won? 100%. I think he would have won by 2 or 3 strokes had he not said it, because he's a fucking great player and he's a killer. Like when it comes to the end and he's coming down the stretch, he doesn't bogey 17, right? He doesn't come up short on 18. So I think it definitely affected him on Sunday.
I agree. And, some of the comments that you made last week in regards to him and his 5 buddies for a sausage fest, I mean, it might be true, right? I mean, if he's using that kind of language, I mean, is he on the boat with the boys or what?
Well, here's the thing. He knows that there's fucking mics everywhere out there. Like we're over the fucking apologizing phase. Anything you say it's since the days of NFL films, back in the days of VHS, what you say in a sporting event, no matter what professional sport you play in, it's caught on camera. The only thing is who chooses to play it and who chooses not to. The PGA Tour has the option. That shit's tape delayed, at least by fucking some seconds. Well, they have the option to fucking cut that out and not show it to the fans. But they chose to play it or whatever it is. It's live is not 100% live. There's always a little tape delay.
I agree with you, and I was gonna make that point, Jeff. It just shocks me because later in the golf tournament in round 4, Patrick Cantlay hits a shot into a bunker and then literally blades it over a grandstand, and then somehow the coverage doesn't show him getting up and down over this fucking grandstand and or showing where he dropped, and all of a sudden he's putting for par. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, Justin Thomas said some very horrible shit that's going to affect him, his life, his brand, but not just his brand, golf in general, PGA Tour, Golf Channel. I just don't understand how they can allow that shit on television. I don't know. Like, who the fuck was the producer sitting in the fucking truck or wherever they're sitting and going, that's good to go? Like, radio stations have had this technology and this capability for fucking 30, 40 years. I just don't understand why they didn't exercise that tape delay and not allow that type of language to get out there. It was going to be known anyways, but it's kind of almost inexcusable.
Well, who knows? And here's the thing: they can still discipline him, and they could, relatively keep it quiet if they wanted to. They didn't want to, and maybe that's the way they're going. Who knows why they do what they do out there? But you would think you're putting on a nationally televised broadcast for entertainment, right? And you're trying to boost your ratings, and you're trying to make your guys seem as cool as they are, and get all the kids and the fans to like them. And then something like that happens. Like, hey, I'm okay with you cutting it out and then hitting them real hard with a fucking, give them $1 million fine. I don't care. Make him play the next fucking 8 weeks for free. But try to save golf and the brand, because here's the thing. They're so worried about hooded sweatshirts and this and that, but yet they'll let that type of stuff slide. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense. So the one topic that has been rather popular is how does Justin Thomas overcome this? Is it just time, or is it just a matter of letting President Trump continue to make headlines?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Trump does. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's time. If Trump does some shit that gets the media attention, it's going to be quicker, than it would be. But it's time. I mean, you told me something about Patrick Reed earlier in the pre-show. I don't remember it. I don't know. I don't know if I knew in the first place or if I just didn't remember. But in time, it'll go away. Everything does. But it's something he's going to have to deal with here for the near future, at least.
What punishment would fit the crime? And because the PGA Tour does not announce, they protect their players in the sense of keeping all of those fines. I mean, Kobe Bryant said the same shit and was fined $100,000. What is the punishment that would fit the crime? Any suggestion?
So for these guys, I'm not a big for the PGA Tour. I'm not a big fan of the monetary fines, right? A $50,000 fine, $100,000, whatever. It's more in the means of suspensions, because a suspension to him means a hell of a lot more than a suspension to me or you if we were playing on the PGA Tour, right? Because we're lucky to make the cut, maybe make $20,000, $30,000. This motherfucker's in contention to win every tournament, 700, a million. So I think you suspend him in the tournaments that he would play in, maybe a bigger event, so you know he's going to be there, something like that, and that just reverberates down the rest of the tour. Like, hey, dude, cuss and scream, do what you need to do, but watch your mouth. If you're going to get into sexual orientation or race, you're going to get in trouble. It's going to happen.
It's fucking 2021. Like there's like 3 things you can't talk about on live television. There's 3 things you can't talk about on YouTube. There's 3 things that you really cannot fucking say unless you are absolutely crazy and you're creating some fucking cult, and you own the network. But even then, like, it's just, you're a fucking idiot. And the one thing I hope that they don't punish is the fans for this event. I hope broadcasts do not, and I hope the PGA Tour doesn't go, all right, no more mics around the greens. No more mics around the players when they're hitting shots. Because I think that would be, for me personally, you'd be punishing the wrong people. Because I enjoy that emotion, and I enjoy the talk between the caddies and the players, and hearing some of the fans with some of the shit that they say. I just hope the PGA Tour doesn't pull anything like that.
I hope not, because it's on them. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. It's on them. They have hours and hours of footage that they don't use in the stuff that the mics pick up. Okay, it's entertainment. It's the entertainment business. Pick up the things that you want to present. Me and you are entertainment business. There's half the shit we say, like you said, not as bad as him, that does not make it to the show, right? Because we have a little bit of a fucking filter and some editing. They have that. They got a crew. They got fucking camera trucks, trailers. We have, me and you, I'm sitting in a fucking garage. You're in a goddamn dungeon room, and we can figure it out. They got to figure it out. Yeah. They're bigger than that.
I completely agree. But one of the guys this week also had a little rage behind them was John Rahm. He was a hot topic last week on our show about he was sporting new Callaway gear and was rocking, some new clubs. But the thing that I was kind of shocked about that they didn't bring up was he's got a new shoe deal. Fuck, he's rocking the old J's. I mean, what was your take on him switching from Adidas to Jordans? Is it a good move for John Rahm?
Well, that's a great move. We question his club selection move, but that's a great move. I even saw a post today. Rory was wearing the fucking patent leather J's out on the course. Anything that's Jordan, I'm for. Anything that's Nike, I'm for, obviously. John Rahm, he played okay. I think he played okay. But yeah, I'd keep him in J's. He's just such a big man. Like, they look weird on his foot. Like, they just don't fit right. Jordans are kind of narrow. He might need to get some fucking special made shoes.
It's there. He looks like he's got about a size 8.5, but like an 8.5, like extra wide. But the guy who was stomping around the golf hole who pissed off John Rahm was Bryson DeChambeau was playing in the group in front of him. And Bryson has been bragging about the so much torque he takes on through his golf swing that he needs the largest metal spikes that they can produce. And John Rahm openly said, like, this motherfucker, there's metal spike prints everywhere around this fucking hole. And he was pissed. And because he didn't see a metal spike mark when he putted. And it legitimately knocked his ball off the line. Jeff, your take on metal spikes and just Bryson DeChambeau in general, having to have the largest metal cleats out there, like he's a fucking middle linebacker for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, welcome to public course golf, John Rahm. You might not have played much in your life, but welcome to it. Here's my take on metal spikes, right? If you're an amateur or you played fucking on your Sundays, you should never wear them. Like, everybody should be in soft spikes or rubber shoes. PGA Tour guys, Tiger Woods still wears them. I'm okay with it. I don't care if it's fucking 8 inches long, because John Rahm seems to forget they made a rule change a year or two back where you can tap that shit down. Okay, so if you happen to miss it when you're reading your putt, that's your bad, buddy. I mean, the rules aren't. It's not like Jack Nicklaus back in the day where he had to putt around it or just try to hope that it fucking bounced the right way. You get to do whatever you want on the green now. Ball mark, divots, spike marks. So that's your bad. You're bitching for no reason. Go play better.
Jeff, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I don't think anyone should be playing fucking metal spikes. This isn't 1952. There's fucking technology now with the golf shoes that literally I've played soft spikes my entire fucking golfing career, and I've never thought in my eyes to go, I think I need to attach some spikes into my fucking cleats with little nails at the end of it to fucking re-grip because I'm swinging too hard. This is just another ploy that fucking Bryson DeChambeau does just to fuck with people. We're going to have the largest spikes in the world. Jeff, I agree with you. Okay. John Rahm needs to get his fucking hat out of his ass when it comes to knocking down spike marks. But if you got to do that for 17, 18 holes around the fucking putting green, I'd be pissed. And I understand maybe it's once or twice. Fuck, I missed one. But if I had to follow the guy who looked like he was wearing fucking moon boots out there, I would be absolutely raging right now, having I'd be like Matt Wolf out there fucking tapping down fucking spike marks. Okay. So, but Bryson wasn't the only one pissing off just John Rahm. He also earlier in the week was speed training and was trying to knock himself out, with this CT fucking getting over the ability to get past his fucking speed slot or whatever. It was reported that Hideki Matsuyama was on the same driving range and had to hear Bryson grunt and scream and yell during his speed training range session. Jeff, I mean, would you put up with any of that shit?
Absolutely not. First of all, like I said earlier, I don't go to the range very often. I will go a little bit before I play. But if there's one place to have some etiquette, it's on the fucking range. And the main thing, like when I go to the range, when you go to the range, when people go to the range, it's not to hang out. It's not to talk and scream and yell and be buddy. It's like, I'm just trying to get loose, work on my fucking game, be in my own zone, and get to the first tee, especially in a tournament setting, right? If I had to hear some guy fucking screaming and grunting over there like he's playing fucking tennis, no, get the fuck out of here. I might walk over there and, like I've said in previous shows, Dumb and Dumber cane him to the leg.
If anyone is speed training at my driving range, I'll give you a better example. I went to the gym earlier this week, and we got this young guy who's clearly not a very good weightlifter, but someone taught him to grunt like Bryson DeChambeau. And I looked at him, I'm staring at this fucker, and I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, there is no reason to be Olympic lifting here in the gym while you've got to erect yourself to lift this amount of weight. Like, one, you're fat. Two, no one does that shit anymore. So I just hope this is not a common trend when it comes to driving ranges, because I enjoy the driving range where it's quiet. It's maybe a little music, kind of by myself, working on my fucking game. I don't have to fucking focus on the 8 other dipshits out there, playing golf. So it just seemed like some of his comments about like pushing his body to try and black or almost blacking out. Jeff, have you ever blacked out swinging a golf club?
No, and that's the difference between golf and fucking other sports. Have I blacked out in sports before? Yeah. I've been knocked out in a football game. Yeah, I've had a line drive hit me in the side of the head in a baseball game, right? Contact sports where you're moving around, you're athletic. This is golf, dude. So I can swing as hard as I want, and I'm not going to black out. I don't know how he does. Maybe he doesn't eat. Maybe he fasts before he goes and does it, gives a bunch of blood, and he's running low. I don't know. He's out of his mind with this stuff. Him and Kyle Berkshire just need to go to a fucking cabin up in the woods and stay away from the PGA Tour and stay away from us.
I get this thought in my head, like Bryson speed training at the driving range at the Masters, and the camera just pans to Bryson, and he's just laying on the ground, passed out. I just would be fucking overjoyed. What happened to Bryson? He knocked himself out again. Like, he's a fucking fainting goat. Like, I just see him fucking, I don't know.
What do we have to have medics on standby? I mean, do we need to stage medics just in case? Put him in the recovery position because he swung too hard? Get the fuck out of here.
Jeff, the only time I've passed out on or blacked out on a golf course is being entirely too drunk. And I believe it was at my bachelor party where I puked everywhere in San Francisco. It just, I think that's the only way you black out on a golf course and or get knocked out. Like you drink too much, your buddies carry you in, kick you in the nuts, and go out and keep playing. So
that's the only legitimate reason. But I will say, at your bachelor party at the Presidio, when we played our first round, hey, you rallied. You found a way to come back out that night. Shout out to Lefty O'Doul's. They got the best corned beef in the Bay Area. It's like a cafeteria line, but you fucking had your plate and you fucking ate it and you rallied.
You got to puke and rally, okay? There's no fucking way that you're gonna go on a golf trip, especially a bachelor party, and fucking what are you gonna clock it in at 10 o'clock at night? No, you're gonna get up, stumble down the scary streets of San Francisco and get it done. But someone that else is stumbling down the streets is apparently the mob of conservatives and have overtaken the Capitol based on our President Trump's tweets, which I don't want to get into the political side of it, but I just have to make this response because sane people don't do shit based on tweets. I gotta say, and some of the people that President Trump tweeted at, I recognize they had some mental health problems. Anyways, Jeff, fuck. President Trump does this thing, and of course we've known his antics for fucking years, right? The PGA of America signs a deal back in 2016 that they're going to host a PGA Championship in 2022 at Bedminster, New York, at Trump's, one of his golf courses. Now they're like, nah, we're gonna reenact. We're gonna, I can't say the proper word, but we're gonna not go through with their deal. They're not gonna play the PGA Championship on one of Trump's properties. Yeah, your take.
Well, first off, about storming the Capitol and stuff like that. Okay, I voted for Trump. I'm a Trump fan, right? Would I ever read his tweets and think that I need to go do that? Absolutely not. Honestly, in all honesty, these people that protest and spend their days off standing on a street corner or walking in a fucking march, that drives me nuts because I'm like, I have 18,000 better things to do than waste my time doing that. I thank God we live where we live, and I wasn't a part of that. I'm not there. It blows my mind that people can be so influenced over somebody's words okay, enough of that. But it's hard to motivate me to walk 18 holes at a golf course, let alone fucking march on my day off to go fucking vote for him. Like, fuck that. Like, I got way too much fucking time on my hands to be. I got better fucking things to do. I've got cussing to do on this podcast. Well, the people that do that stuff, obviously, they do have mental health issues because no normal person would say, I'm going to give up my days off to go do something for somebody that doesn't give two shits about me and I don't know, right? Different story if you know them, they're your friend, family, and you're doing something else, whatever. But to take his golf tournaments away, the golf courses are why we're going to play. It's not because it has the Trump name on it or Donald Trump's associated with it. Those courses are good enough to host these tournaments. That's why you signed the fucking deal, PGA, right? That's why we're coming there, USGA. And then to turn around and say, yeah, no, we're going to back out because there's negativity surrounding his name. Okay, the man has hotels, resorts, golf courses. He's not going away. Now you're taking it and what are they going to do? They're going to go play it at some other course we've seen 16 times in the last 100 years, and we're going to have to watch the same holes and the same. I want to see new venues for majors. I want to see. It's the best golf courses, the toughest challenge for the best players in the world. We don't need to rehash it every year, unless it's like the Masters or Pebble Beach.
Well, and it just got me thinking when they announced this yesterday, and it got me just spinning. He's an influential person, okay, because he's the president of the United States. 50% of our nation voted for him. Majority of golf is conservative. And you're doing you have this reactionary fucking take based on an event that was, I read the fucking tweets. They did not say, go storm the fucking Capitol, go break in and commit crimes. That is not what it was said. I just don't know why you punish and you fucking hurt the community that where that golf course is going to be played. Millions and millions of dollars are now lost wherever they were going to have it. And now the properties that Trump's associated with, the people that are day to day involved in those facilities are now going to be hurt for that, and it's their fucking fault because the owner of this company that owns fucking golf courses and hotels and properties where obviously people want to go play fucking golf. I mean, it was disappointing. And then listening and reading a lot of the news media, and everyone is so fucking negative when it comes to President Trump. And it just is just fucking mind boggling that you have to realize 50% of your fucking audience is conservative. Maybe you get your head out of your ass and you fucking actually go out and survey the fucking people who are actually reading and paying attention to your shit, because majority of the comments on Twitter about the PGA Championship removing that fucking venue were like, we're not watching golf anymore. It's just, we're not watching your event.
Well, here's the thing. People have got to realize Trump's obviously very smart. 45, now going to be 46 people in the history of the United States have been president, right? So he's obviously doing something right. He's not as dumb as people think. But here's the thing. Trump, this is going to end up being positive for Trump and give him more publicity, more media, because when that tournament rolls around and it's not where it's supposed to be, that's all people are going to talk about. Yep. And then they're going to lose viewers on the other end because people have stopped watching the NBA. People have stopped watching the NFL. I mean, they stopped watching all these major sports because of their political beliefs, right? I don't stop because of my political beliefs. I love sports. Yeah. Sports are my most important thing. But in reality, you're going to lose a lot, and he's going to get so much media. He's going to play this up like we talked about with the PGA Tour. Somebody's got to have a fucking brain somewhere in there and say, "Yeah, this is probably not the right time. This is probably not the best way to do this."
Well, and the PGA of America is not the only organization that who's come out and said. The R&A reported earlier today that no Open Championships will be held at any Trump properties until President Trump is no longer associated with those properties. And it just is shocking and disappointing that organizations will. It's like they want to go the easy road. They want to be friends with fucking everyone. They will hold everyone's fucking hand when it comes to hosting an event or fucking promoting a tournament. It just seems like you're pissing off the wrong fucking people. Like it just is. Well, it's very confusing to me.
It's a slippery slope because here's the thing. Trump's very wealthy, right? He's going to be out of office here in 8, 9, 10 days. What are they going to do if he goes and buys Augusta? What are they going to do if he goes and buys Pebble Beach? What are they going to do if he goes and buys Bethpage Black? Are they going to stop putting tournaments there? He might do something like that.
He's crazy enough.
They're going down a path they shouldn't. This should never be political. This should be about the golf course. That's what golf is about. It's about the golf course, it's about the players, and it's about the fans. It's not about who owns it. Never do we ever find out who the fuck owns the golf course that these guys are playing at. We find out who designed it.
Right.
But I don't know who fuck owns all these courses. This is just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, and just based on his tweets and just based on his political views and based on half of the country being with Trump. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with his views, and there's nothing wrong with not supporting his political beliefs. But when it comes to fucking golf, that's why the game of golf is so fucking great. It's the ability to show up where they grow green fucking grass and you hit it a long fucking ways and you get in a little hole and no one gives a fuck about who you are or what you did or how much money you fucking make. The thing that scares me the most is that they turn a fucking blind eye to the fucking rest of the golfing fucking world. Augusta National legitimately did not allow women members until 2008. They didn't allow black people on their fucking property, let alone the guy who now is going to be the black guy of the honorary membership was in response to a Black Lives Matter fucking movement. And it's just disgusting to me that we're so reactionary for certain events. And Augusta National gets they get a pass. Why do they get a fucking pass? I went to Augusta. It's a shithole. The nicest place in it is the fucking fence that surrounds Augusta National and the police who detain you in Augusta National's grocery store parking lot. So it just frustrates me. And let's move on. I mean, hell,
in the end, golf is a game. It's a game.
yep.
That's all it is. These guys play a game for lots of money. They do a thing that me and you love that we wish we could get paid money to do. It's a fucking game. Let them play. They create these venues to make it different for these guys, make it challenging. It has nothing to do with the politics and who owns it. So we're done with that.
I agree. One thing I want to mention. JT, Justin Thomas, literally said something that offended the entire world. President Trump only offended half of the world. It just fucking cracks me up. We're going to continue to, the PGA Tour is going to continue to support fucking Justin Thomas with his bullshit. But when it comes to the fucking rest of the world and President Trump's properties, it just seems like if you were going to take this head on, you would have done it back in 2016 and had the excuse like, all right, we're not signing up. We're not hosting any events. When it involves the president of the United States, it's a bad conflict for golf. We don't think we need to subside each other with some political view. We're not going to hold our venues there. So I agree. We should probably move on. Last week, LPGA Commissioner Mike Whan stepped down from the LPGA. Jeff, is this a good thing or bad thing for golf when it comes to the ladies?
So I don't even know who Mike Whan is, but I'll tell you right now, it's got to be a good thing for the ladies tour because me or you could promote them better than he was. So I think it's definitely a good thing.
And don't get me wrong, for the last 11 years, he did bring the LPGA Tour back out of the fucking hole that they were in. And he did a lot of things that were pretty unique for the game of golf. I think he did a good job, but I think he's at a point in time, you spend 11 years at a particular organization where just seems like the ideas aren't flowing probably as well. And don't get me wrong, he was super nice. He's very upfront. I just think any selection, hopefully get some fucking crazy person that does all kinds of crazy shit. But I think it'll be a good move for the LPGA. It's rumored that Mike is gonna go to the USGA as the president because the USGA president stepped down earlier this year to build golf courses, I think, and probably paid a whole lot more money. So that was another thing, hot topic. But leading into with the LPGA Tour, the Golf Channel just posted a nice graphic about the major events of the year, the biggest year, the events that we are anticipating. And Jeff, I need your take on it because it rather pissed off several LPGA players and probably half the population when it comes to females. The Golf Channel did not post any notable events when it came to the ladies' game of golf.
Well, again, they're not using their head, right? Are these the events the biggest ones and the most viewed and we're all going to watch? Absolutely, right? I care about all those events except for the players. I really don't get the whole thing about the players, why they like that tournament so much. Yes, the men's majors are where it's at. That's why we have what we have on the Golf Channel, and which is why they pay these guys a ton of money. But you cover more than just the fucking PGA Tour. Use your fucking head. Put a couple of the ladies' events up there. Get them a little bit of publicity, more notoriety. Get people to watch them. Help their brand while helping yours. Like, the trolls on social media and television. Yeah. Like, you're just setting yourself up for freaking bashing.
It's like tee it up and get ready for the fucking anger, babe, because the Golf Channel, you are literally named the Golf Channel. Like, you cover all of golf. And when it comes down to the LPGA Tour, like, you guys jumped on this fucking bandwagon of like hashtag women worth watching. Is it just bullshit? Is it just fucking because they don't pay you as much money or they don't bring in enough cash? I'm going to say yes. That's exactly why. And then like a day later, they actually popped up a graphic that corrected it. And it said men's event and then women's events. And they added, the Solheim Cup, some, 5 of the majors and the, whatever else was going on. It's
That's
kind of
that's
shocking.
just that's an apology. That's just like JT apologizing after the fact. It's like, oh, we messed up.
Oops.
But here's the thing. They have people that produce this shit that are making these decisions week in and week out that are wrong. They're wrong to us. They're wrong to the public eye. How does this keep happening? It just doesn't make any sense.
It just lacks the the checks and balances, Jeff. I mean, as a supervisor, you red ink some things. You would think that they would have a process where you get out the Cardinelli pen and you start fucking editing some shit. With the old red ink. We've been grading each other for years, and I just am shocked by. I mean, are the kids running the castle? Probably. Maybe they made so many cuts budget wise that they don't have anyone in the booth. Maybe it's just maybe it's like their puppy. Maybe it's Shane Bacon's fucking dog running the fucking producing trailer. But as the Golf Channel is pissing most people off, another event that popped up earlier today, news broke that the WGC Mexico is moving from Mexico City to somewhere in Florida, claiming the pandemic that's been going on.
Well, didn't they move the WGC in 2020 as well?
They've moved it a couple times. So I think there's 4 WGCs. The one in China, I think, got moved, and then the one in Memphis got moved around. But Patrick Reed was the defending champ last year at the WGC Mexico. At one of the more unique golf courses. It's really like a really shitty golf course on television. Like, it's got bare spots. It's covered in fucking trees. Jeff, I mean, you would think the World Golf Championships will not host 3 out of the 4 championships in the United States. You think they'd fucking spread it out.
And hey, if you want to move it out of Mexico, that's fine, because the Aloha Press is planning on doing something in Mexico this year. So hey, we'll take over for you. We'll help you out. We'll make it happen. But the World Golf Championship, yeah, it's got to be around the world. That's the way this works. It's not that it's going to be the United States or down in Florida where it's always warm. It doesn't make sense to me. Hey, postpone it a little bit if you have to. And by the way, I don't think Mexico has that many COVID restrictions. Why are we moving it out of there?
I don't know. I think the sponsor had some financial issues when the pandemic hit. When they shut down the countries, they were unable to support some of the Mexican cartels who were storing some of their funds in their bank. Is what I heard. I heard a rumor that is not confirmed. I haven't been in contact with any of the cartels that I know of. I just know that the sponsor was lost, and they're in search for a new venue, and it was rumored to be in Florida. If anything, I would say like let's leave North America. Let's go somewhere kind of sketchy. Bangkok. Somewhere in Russia. Somewhere in communist China. Venture out. Roll the dice with some of these players and see if they make the trek over.
Hey, leave it up to the public. Put it up to a vote. Hey, we can't have it here, but we're gonna give you 4 options. The public can vote. That's where we're gonna go play.
I don't know if a vote is going to be very good. It might take us 4 months to figure it out.
That's true.
The only thing that scares me is like American Idol has figured out the voting rather quickly, but the United States still struggles every 4 years.
Hey, American Idol's got that live text to vote. It comes through right away. They know that night who won.
I mean, fuck, they do it minutes. Shit, Jeff. This has been a rather long podcast YouTube show. If you guys are still sticking around, greatly appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for the ride. We tend to kind of lean a little more conservative than the rest of the golf media world. So, Jeff, with that being said, really appreciate it, buddy. And we'll catch you on Thursday.
See you next week, buddy.
No, not in Thursday. 2 days.
Yeah, you got it.